All right, thanks, Jim. Bill Snyder, third year back after taking a sabbatical. Head coach of Kansas State, their all-time winningest coach, 89 to 2005, and then came back for the 2009 season. And are they lucky to have him back in Manhattan, Kansas? Back deep, it is going to be Ben McRoy, one of the very best in the Big 12 and the nation on kick returns, along with Austin Zuzalik and Anthony Cantelli will kick it away. And Joel, I know you want to play. It's 80 degrees on a Saturday night in Lubbock.
There could not be a more perfect night to play football than this.
Here we go. Good to have you with us in Lubbock, Texas. West Texas. They don't like their football. They live it. They love it. It is religion back here. And out of bounds it goes. So Texas Tech is going to have it. K-State won the toss and decided that they wanted their defense on the field first. So the offensive line will count as playing with a torn ACL.
What a great story. Tore his ACL in fall camp, and he's out there. He taped it up, braced it up, ready to go. And then Eric Ward, because Eric Stevens, the starting running back, tore his knee up a week ago, Eric Ward will be asked to do a lot of things in the pass game for Seth Dagey.
So Eric Ward is going to be on the top of your screen. Trips on the wide side. And they're going to start Aaron Crawford in the backfield for Eric Stevens. It's Crawford, and not much room, and great recovery on the outside. Trey Walker, former Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week after their win over Miami.
Trey Walker, a very good player. He's a sophomore, 21 tackles so far on the season.
Now, the tempo offense of Seth Dagey and Texas Tech, limiting personnel situations and substitutions for defensive reasons for K-State. Underneath, in and out of the hands of his intended target, Cornelius Douglas. Now, defensively, we have a second. Volker is going to be the defensive end, and I say a second the way they like to snap it.
Junior college player. He walked on to Kansas State, and he's got 4 sacks on the year. Arthur Brown, transfer from Miami, very good. And then Ty Zimmerman, last year was a freshman All-American.
It'll be a 3rd and 10 early. Marquez in motion. Ton of time for Dagey, and it's picked, and it's going the other way for 6. Touchdown, Nigel Malone. That makes it 4 of the first 5+ games for Nigel Malone. And I'm talking about interceptions. Boy, do they capitalize on mistakes.
Nigel Malone read Seth Dagey's eyes the entire time. He jumps the route. Wasn't even the player he lined up over. Jumps the route, and that's as easy of a pick 6 as you're going to ever find. Seth Dagey's 2nd interception of the year. That's all, but it goes for 6 early for Kansas State.
Cantelli puts it through for a perfect beginning. So Kansas State, 37 seconds into the game, they knew what they were doing when they won the coin toss and said, we want our D on the field first. A rare mistake, only the 2nd interception of the season for Seth Dagey. And it's Kansas State up early. Beer. And by Sprint. All football, no limits. Only from Sprint. Well, right away, Seth Dagey, man, the Red Raiders are going to get the football back 37 seconds into the contest. As Nigel Malone, if you joined us a split second late, you missed it. A touchdown off a pick from Malone. That's his 4th interception already this season. He's from Manteca, California, and another one of those guys that transferred in from the City College of San Francisco.
Kansas State under Bill Snyder plays such a simple defense. They just play base defense, cover 4 all the time. Nigel Malone took advantage.
Cantelli with the line drive, trying to take McRoy out of it, and he does. He's 7th in the nation in kick returns. And a look back on the pick.
Another basic defense from Kansas State. Malone's at the and he just shuffles, baits him into it. Actually, this was the first play of the game on just the run play, but that's the exact same defense that they ran on this play, the 2nd play of the game. Dagey was trying to go out to the true freshman, Bradley Marquez, and that's when Malone was able to step in front, intercept it, and go for 6. They're going to be in that defense, Joel, all day long.
So they're barely in their seats, so you can't say they're stunned.
That's right.
They're just arriving.
Good point.
An early lead for K-State. They already won a big one on the road this year, don't forget. An upset on the road earlier in the season. It's dumped off, and it's complete underneath. as they go to Adam James, wide receiver, kind of a hybrid, and a tight end, the way they set things up. But the Coors Light game plan.
Well, for Texas Tech, it's Daigie's show. With Eric Stevens out, he's got to be great. You got to spread the ball around, and then the defense has to grow up quick. They're very young. Two true freshmen will at times be linebackers for them on the field, Joel.
Nothing doing that time once again for Aaron Crawford, the senior, and his task, try to do something that Eric Stevens was doing already at a very high level. Stevens out rest of the year. Unfortunately, a knee injury on a play that was already whistled dead, but the activity continued. And a strange situation at the end of the play. So he's lost now for the Red Raiders, who kept everybody honest with a good running game. Offside, free down. Let's see if Daiggie can capitalize. Nope. He'll take the free 5, though, as he's dropped close to the line of scrimmage by Vi Latui, junior from Salt Lake City.
By number 57 of the defense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still first down.
Volker trying to get a quick jump.
They're going to try to draw Jordan Volker off sides, which they were able to do on that down. He's got 5 tackles for loss, 4 sacks. The walk-on player, high motor, and gets a great jump off the ball. Texas Tech takes advantage for a free 5 yards.
It'll be Crawford, good hold up the middle, and lunges close to the marker on 1st and 5. Gets 4. Well, what I was talking about with Eric Stevens and what he was doing for this team and making it easy on Seth Daiggie as well.
They were running the ball so effectively for the first time ever here in Lubbock. Eric Stevens was a great player.
Now, Daiggie going for the bundle and overshooting his intended target. He tried to get it downfield for Alex Torres, the junior from El Paso. But looking back on how it developed, and I said, a strange situation at the end of a dead play.
Well, and you can see the momentum for the Texas A&M player just continued. And Stevens was just in an awkward position. You hate to see that for such a great player and a big part of this Red Raider offense.
Caught a 3rd and a yard. Move the H back in motion. And Crawford, indecision cost him. Give the K-State defense credit, though, the penetration, and Arthur Brown up the middle, a big part of that, the junior from Wichita.
And he's been a big part of their resurgence defensively. They've been so good, first in total defense in this Big 12 conference, and they get off the field early against Texas Tech. Already a defensive touchdown, and now getting off the field, forcing a punt. I love what I see from the Wildcats so far.
Ryan Erksleben will punt it away. They'll use the clock. K-State from the 12. Man, a little lane over to the right side, but good play again. He's brought down. Tremaine Thompson brought it down, but Marquez caught up with him. The wide receiver gets another wide receiver on special teams play. Defensive touchdown, we'll talk about that. And now offensively, Colin Klein is going to be protected by Clyde Offner, the right tackle, the offensive line. He's the most experienced one up front, Joel.
Yeah, and John Hubert in the backfield, Joel, he's the guy that has to take some of those carries away from Colin Klein, the quarterback. Hubert, 6th leading rusher in the Big 12 Conference. Colin Klein, the 7th leading rusher in the Big 12 Conference. Their game is on the ground.
They both average just about 94 yards per carry. So now a 4-2-5 defense against a team that likes to run the football. An interesting contrast tonight in Lubbock. Wade Wilson setting up and a change right away. Klein, he wanted to throw it, and he will. It's an afterthought, but it's a good one to Tyler Lockett, the true freshman. His dad, Kevin, the all-time Wildcat leading receiver. Now defensively for Texas Tech, Kerry Hyder, he's a disruptive sort, isn't he?
Undersized but quick, and he's got to play great against that running game, and so does Blake Dees. He's a true freshman. Got to play strong. Cody Davis in the back end, a very good player. He's going to have some opportunities against Colin Klein in the pass game. That's
a nice ad-lib by Colin Klein to find Lockett. He didn't panic, did he? He'll keep it in the zone read, and he'll be driven down. It's Leon Mackey, the defensive end, holding containment on that side.
We're going to try the zone read. Colin Klein makes a terrific read off the defensive end. Because the defensive end pinches down the line, he goes ahead and pulls it. ends up getting stopped by that very player anyways, but Colin Klein knows that sometimes the best decision is to take it for no yards, especially if your running back is going to go for -4.
He's got Hubert in the backfield on a 3rd down. Batted up in the air and timed beautifully. That's Scott Smith, the senior from Hawaii, on the other side, the defensive end.
They are so happy to have Scott Smith back after a suspension and playing very well. This defense will be much different with him on the edge. Right side of your screen, Kansas State's trying to cut him. You sight Offner on the ground trying to cut Scott Smith. Didn't bite. Hands on the offensive lineman. Gets his hands up. Bats it down.
Dorr, a junior from Katy, will punt it away to Austin Susano. And let's see about the exchange field position wise. They go after it. And just barely missed getting to Dorr's punt. Fair catch called for. Man, when we come back, Texas Tech is going to have it down by 7 for the 3rd time. They'll have it. They'll have it in good shape at their own 35. College Football Saturday. It starts next weekend at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, of course, in high definition.
Buff struggling a little bit this year, Joel.
Just a little. Quick one, bubble screen, and talk about the resiliency. I mean, getting out there and bringing down the wide receiver as it's taken in over there by Eric Ward. But Zimmerman, and it'll look like 5 to 10 yards. Zimmerman gets him after 3 or 4. Nothing for Crawford. Boy, the running game, 5 carries, 8 yards for the running game right now. You think they miss Stevens early?
Well, it's going to be tough because Kansas State obviously faces their offense every day in practice. Iron sharpens iron. A good running game breeds a good defensive run game. That's what you're seeing for Kansas State so far.
So slow start offensively for the Red Raiders, but give the Wildcats credit. Now Deggy, ton of time. Perfect timing. Adam James, first down. Second first down of the game for the Red Raiders, and in K-State territory for the first time.
James is going to have a big game because they are playing off. It is basic defense with 2 free safeties way back. James right over the middle. You see all the free space that he has. Seth Deggy finds him easily.
We're going the other way, trying to make it work and hanging on for dear life. The defensive back on that side, Alan Chapman, gets Swindoll. Good play by Chapman.
Yeah, Chapman normally just the nickel back, but he'll play almost every snap tonight versus the spread sets at Texas Tech.
Speaking of spreads, man, do they get you out. They had 3 up top, wide side of the field. Go that direction, inside the 20, it's complete. 5, touchdown. Taken in by Douglas. Red Raiders with a flag on the play.
Was an offsides, the decline. Seth Deggy comes right back after throwing the interception for the touchdown earlier today. Finds Douglas right over the middle for the strike and the 6 points.
It's a little more than 5 minutes in. Cantelli in for the point after. Make it Donnie Corona, rather. The senior from Beaumont in for the point after try. And we are all even. So at 9:47 to play, they get a score for the first time after giving one up offensively.
Seth Deggy is just forcing the safeties off the hash with his eyes. Tyson Hartman, number 2, was just way out of position. You see Deggy looking all the way to his left. That forces Tyson Hartman, number 2, off the hash and allows Douglas a free seam down the middle of the football field. Great answer from Texas Tech. Their 3rd series of the game.
And as Tommy Tuberville told us, and you could really see there was no pressure on Deggy. But Deggy's a warrior, and he hangs in there. And as Tommy Tuberville said, he's got the respect of the offensive line because he's iced up after games.
If he can sit like that with no pressure all day long, this is going to be a long day for Kansas State's defense because they do play such a safe defense, always with 2 safeties back. Over the middle is going to be wide open for Tommy Tuberville and Seth Deggy.
Jim Knox, what's going on down there?
Joel Seth Dagan continues to get congratulations. I talked to him before the game. Believe it or not, I asked him, who do you pat in your game after? He didn't say Tom Brady, Drew Brees, or even Joel Clack. He said Cliff Kingsbury, of all people, one of the great quarterbacks here at Texas Tech.
All right, San Antonio kid Cliff Kingsbury. It's about 5 yards into the end zone, and Swindoll will stay there. For Academy Sports and Outdoors Game Break. Let's go to Kevin Frazier and Marcus Allen. All right, thank you, Kevin. Alabama. And to think they were down to start the game. First points of the game against them.
Got the sense they would always come back, though.
Really? Now out of the gun. Colin Klein. Can they get the ground game going? This is a team that leads the nation in time of possession because they do run the football. Klein on the edge and forced out. Good pressure once again, though. And pushing him was Scott Smith to the boundary.
Tremaine Thompson on the top of your screen. Top of the formation was wide open, and Klein, that's about the time that he had to scramble out. Never was able to set his feet and get the ball down the field, but that running game has allowed them to chew up clock. 35-57 time of possession per game. It's a big reason why their defense has been so successful as well.
Right, they're not on the field. It's second and long. Back the scramble by Klein. Hubert readjusts. Little delay in counteraction. Bullet turned it in. Man, play was busted up early. A gain of only 1. And now third and about 6. Course-like game plan for K-State.
They have to limit the possessions of Texas Tech. You already saw them get the pick 6 and force a punt. 3 possessions for Tech so far, 1 touchdown. They got to stay basic on defense. Make them go 80 yards in 10 or 13 plays, and then no mistakes on offense. No turnovers, and limit the penalties.
So now third and 6. Second series of the game offensively for Kansas State. They look for their first down. Four-man rush. Underneath and wide of the intended target, Thompson. It was available, too.
And he had good protection. Was able to step into that throw, and it just sailed on him a little bit outside of Thompson's reach. Klein's going to have to make some plays on third down to keep his offense on the field. Already a couple of third failed down conversions now for the Wildcats.
Zuzotic back in Joel field position. So important for a Kansas State team, especially if they've got to play catch up. And right now it's even. But it looks like, barring a turnover, Texas Tech is going to have good field position again. Doyle will punt it inside his own 15. Zuzotic, he doesn't call for the fair catch. Still, he's got it at about the 40-yard line. So 2 big plays, one defensively for K-State, offensively for Texas Tech.
Yeah, it started with Nigel Malone picking off Seth Dagey on the second play from scrimmage for Texas Tech. Just sat on the route, steps in front, and he goes to the end zone. But Texas Tech on their third possession, they got some things going over the middle of the field. K-State jumped off sides. Dagey had a free play, finds Douglas down the seam. That's how they got on the board. So Dagey now finding some rhythm. This is the next series, is the 4th series for Texas Tech. They found some success over the middle. Let's see how Kansas State reacts to that success for the Red Raiders.
Empty backfield. 5 set up at receiver. Man, a little cross in the flat. Man, way too easy for a gain of about 15. So right away, Texas Tech showing what they can do.
If you can't get to Seth Dagey and force him to throw the ball quickly, it's going to be a long day. The runoffs of the outside receivers leave big seams in the underneath for the running backs and tight ends.
That was Ben McRoy, and very rarely do they bring him out in those situations. But it worked. Underneath, it works again. And another first down on a gain of 11. So they bring it in with Alex Torres, his second grab of the game.
Kansas State has sat in zone every play so far of this football game. They're going to have to mix this up and play some man coverage at some point.
Tripped up out of the backfield. Man, they're mixing things up now, as the running back that time was DeAndre Washington. So Washington, he's their fastest running back, a true freshman out of Missouri City, Texas. Nagy on the quick count. Ton of time. Washington can't make a miss. Why? It's Arthur Brown. That's why. He's that quick.
And that's exactly what Kansas State wants him to do, is force the check down and allow Arthur Brown a one-on-one opportunity to force a third down. Now Kansas State, an opportunity on third down to force a field goal or get off the field.
8 of 11, Seth Dagey in the passing department. He's hit 7 straight. So not exactly overwhelmed by throwing a pick early in the game. He's bounced back. It'll be 3rd and short, 3rd and about 5. Looks one way, bubble screen the other way, and throws it away. And that's a break because Washington was well covered.
And a great job by Kansas State of getting off the field, forcing a kick, whether it's a field goal or a punt. Nice job from Kansas State there, because Texas Tech had things rolling on that series for the first few plays.
Donnie Corona is going to try a 48-yard field goal. Academic All Big 12 last year. He's 6 of 8 so far this season. He has a 49-yarder, one of his 6 makes. Exchange is good, and it's blocked. No shot. Kansas State, like Virginia Tech, one of the best teams in the nation when it comes to special teams play. Right up the gut.
Bill Snyder's teams are always great at things that they can control, Joel. Special teams, penalties, lining up correctly. All the things that they have control over, they're terrific at. And again, right up the middle, finds a seam, goes in and blocks it. It's big number 94 gets in there for the block. Terrific job by Raphael Guidry, a senior from Texas City, Texas, to get the block, and a huge momentum swing for Kansas State.
And now they get it back, the Wildcats, at their own 28. They're still even at 7 with 6:52 to play in the first 15. Hubert. They have not been able to get him off early, Joel. So good job. And we talk about a defense that's really schemed towards defending the pass more than the run.
And they gave up 205 yards a week ago on the ground to Texas A&M, and you can clearly see where the emphasis was for the Red Raiders in practice this week, stopping the run. And it starts up front, the defensive line right now winning the line of scrimmage.
It'll be 2nd and 8 from the 30. Harper one side, Lockett the other. And in the zone read, they wrestle Hubert down very quickly. A guy that also averages, as you mentioned, 94 a game. So he slugs it out to the 34.
And already what we're seeing is Texas Tech be more basic on defense than they have during the course of this season. It's a more of an exotic scheme. 4-2-5. They play with 5 defensive backs, but they're lining up in a traditional 4-3 set, trying to allow these players to play fast on third down.
They're trying to convert their first third down of the contest and also pick up their first down. They're in good shape. Tied at 7 without a first down of the game yet. Almost 10 minutes gone by. It'll be Colin Klein calling his own number. He's got it. They can't do it, I will. Colin Klein read it beautifully.
Anytime that the quarterback is going to run it directly with a lead blocker, you're going to have numbers as an offense. Uses number 33, John Hubert, as his lead blocker. How about the block from the center there? Big number 50, actually left guard Nick Pitts, gets out there, finds the linebacker, clears the hole. Klein finds himself past the chains for a first down.
And the one thing Bill Snyder emphasized to us about Colin Klein was his toughness. And now all of a sudden a Wildcat in the backfield. It's a direct snap, and it goes to the running back. Not much doing, though. Maybe 2 yards by Peace, the backup, Angelo Peace Jr. from Georgia.
Kansas State is going to have to throw the ball down the field to try to get this defense out of the run box. Bill Snyder knows that right now. He's going to have Colin Klein throw the ball accurately down the field, or else Texas Tech is going to continue to sit there with 8-9 guys close to the line of scrimmage.
Right, and we talked about making Colin Klein throw the ball over their head, or at least attempt to. Wildcat again. Colin Klein flanking it out on the top of your screen. It'll be Peace. And he's got it across the 45. Academy Sports and Outdoors game break to Kevin Frazier and Marcus Allen. All right, thank you. Tough place to play, as Miami found out very early this season, Kevin. Thank you. Now, it'll be another third down. Third and about 6. Hubert stays with Klein in the backfield. Yeah. Hits him right at the marker. It's a first down. Taken in once again on that side by Tremaine Thompson.
Nice throw by Colin Klein.
Good coverage
on the outside. It was great coverage, but it was even better throw. Accuracy always beats good coverage. Terrific coverage by the corner, but he was able to hit him right out of his break, right on the chest. That's called framing him up, throwing it right on the frame of the wide receiver. Good throw by Colin Klein.
So back-to-back first downs. And across the midfield strike. Hubert weaves his way for a tough 3. They sent Lockett just to plant a seed for down the road on the reverse as Bush was in on the stop. So let's see if Kansas State can control the football, what they've done so well over the first 5 games of the season.
This is the patented Kansas State drive. Feels like they've been on the field forever. Texas Tech just sitting on the sidelines offensively right now.
And Joel, that's why they've got to have a high percentage on third downs, because they don't have big plays. They don't have the explosives that everybody says 20 or more yards. 2nd and 7. Nice play fake by Colin Klein. And throws it at the feet of his tight end, 6'8", 270-pound Andre McDonald. Like to see him make a shoestring catch.
That's a long way to go down for McDonald, but that's not a bad burn. You know, Colin Klein, when your tight end is covered that well, you don't want to give him an opportunity for a tipped ball. The ball goes up in the air for an interception. Might as well just burn it at his feet. Live to play another down for a 3rd down opportunity.
So they've converted on their last 2 third downs. On 3rd and 7. Good pocket protection off the fingertips of the big guy once again. He was going for McDonald. And he's forcing it on a deflection like that. There wasn't somebody behind him to pick it.
Texas Tech did a great job on the last play of forcing the 3rd and long. Colin Klein lets this sail just too high for Andre McDonald, but the reason that they're in that situation is because it was a 3rd and 7 rather than a 3rd and 4.
Zuzotic waiting for the punt once again. Not much wind tonight, which is rare for West Texas. There's nothing to block the wind. And that's concentration. Surrounded. He's got it at about the 13. Good job by Dorr, though, with the hang time. And what a change in field position. The defense of Kansas State, the most improved area of their team.
I mean, what a change for them from last year to this year. It starts with the run game. You've got to stop the run. They've been able to do that. Total defense, you see the disparity there from last year to this year. And then the points, 29-16. Overall total defense, Joel, they're the #1 defense in the conference right now, and you can see why. Very basic, and they force you to execute down the field.
It'll be Crawford. Or check that. Yeah, Crawford out of the backfield. Little jump cut over to the right. Gets it out to the 15. After all is said and done, only a gain of 2, though, as Trey Walker got over there.
This defensive line has been so good. Volker, Kibble, Latui, and Williams, all transfers from junior college, and they've come in right away and been a force.
And Volker has been a force as a former walk-on. Daggy has time of the comeback route. Man is complete. Close to the first down. It'll depend on where they mark it, as it's brought in by Eric Ward, a sophomore from Wichita Falls.
Meshach Williams, number 42, had his target, the bullseye, right on Seth Daggy, was just a hair late.
Crawford, little misdirection, lunges for about 2. And our apologies for one of our microphones picking up anything down on the field you might have heard. It was definitely down on the field. It didn't come from the booth. It's tied at 7 with 95 seconds and counting left in the first quarter. The tempo that we've seen over a decade now. The rhythm offense of Texas Tech. Ton of time for Seth Daggy. Yeah, his receivers read it perfectly, don't they? Coming back once again, different receiver. It's Terrell Miller this time, the sophomore from New Orleans.
And a terrific timing route. The timing between the receivers and Seth Daggy is impeccable. You can see the product of throwing the ball for years and years and years. Marcus Kennard, number 88, comes back perfectly out of his break.
So Daggy, who is now 10 of 14, has gone to 8 different receivers already. Little delay, and one of the better runs as they get it from McRoy, or make it DeAndre Washington. First and 10 line is all brought to you by Mazda. So in the final minute, a wild start to the contest. First pass by Deggy going the other way for a touchdown, and concentration, I guess. It's complete after a bobble by Eric Ward. And he's got the first down.
Yeah, that was Trey Walker from his outside linebacker spot, running out, trying to run underneath this route. Pops the ball out of Ward's hand. Terrific concentration from Ward to bring that back in.
Going for the bubble screen again. And not much available. Boy, the defense can recover. Torres on the outside, but give K-State credit.
A lot of credit, because they're forcing Texas Tech to snap the ball more than they're used to. Remember, they're used to scoring within about 6 plays. Defenses will create vulnerabilities, and they'll go down the field. Kansas State forcing them to snap it over and over.
Flag is down, going for the bundle. Jump ball inside the 10. It's complete. What a grab by Swindoll. It looked like it could have been offside.
Offside by the defense. The penalties decline. It's a first down.
That's Tremaine Swindoll, a senior from Oklahoma City.
Well, and now twice, Texas Tech and Seth Dagey right there over the ball. The nose tackle jumps for Kansas State, drives the coach nuts. But Seth Dagey twice now has realized that he's had a flag on the ground and a free play, and he's gone down the field. Won the touchdown to Douglas, and now down the seam, down the sideline to Eric Ward. Puts the ball first and 10 inside the 10.
So after the junior from Wolford, Texas, Seth Dagey had a disastrous start. He's recovered pretty nicely, and they're driving first to goal when we come back for the Red Raiders. You're watching Big 12 College Football Saturday, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Welcome back once again on a beautiful night in West Texas. Joel Myers, Joel Klatt, Jim Knox. We're in Lubbock. Last snap before we went away at the end of the quarter, Joel.
This is a terrific job of recognition. Seth Dagey recognizes the blitz and the safety moving to the middle of the field, and he knows that Alan Chapman is one-on-one on the outside with his receiver, Eric Ward. He looks off the safety and then goes right to the one-on-one coverage, and then puts the ball high for Ward to go up and get it at its tallest point against the shorter corner. Alan Chapman, only 5'11", 180 pounds. So a terrific job by Seth Dagey of recognition, and then just giving the wide receiver an opportunity to catch the ball, Joel. These guys are athletic. This is what they came to Lubbock to do, and you got to give them the opportunity, and Dagey did on the last play.
And they haven't missed a beat under Tommy Tuberville as
That's
well.
Right.
It's been a seamless transition because they got a guy that's a pro and has been successful elsewhere. Going way back to his days with Jimmy Johnson in Miami as the defensive assistant. It's first and goal from the 7 at the first snap of the second quarter. Ton of time for Dagey. Set up a lawn chair back there. It's thrown wide of Torres. And it's going to be second and goal. Can't ask for much more, though, from your offensive line. Now, they have one miss in the red zone. 25 of the 28 scores are touchdowns. The one miss, they ran out the clock against Kansas. On the give, diving touchdown, DeAndre Washington.
This is the guy I thought would carry the load in Eric Stevens' absence. The true freshman DeAndre Washington out of Missouri City, Texas. Carry over the left tackle, puts it into the end zone.
It's Corona for the point after. So the last 14 points of the game from the Red Raiders, and they have dominated the proceedings so far. The only points for K-State came from their defense as Texas Tech has their first. The lead for the first time for the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. Time for our BMW Ultimate Drive, an 87-yarder for the Red Raiders.
And it started with a timing route. That's what kind of set everything up and got Seth Dagey in rhythm. Then he found Swindoll down the sidelines, gave him a chance over Chapman in the one-on-one coverage. First and goal inside the 10, and then the true freshman, the fastest guy on the field when he's in the game, DeAndre Washington, finds himself in the end zone. He's only 5'7", 182 pounds, but a bright future here with the Red Raiders. So 10 plays, 87 yards. That's what Kansas State wants to force him to do, is snap it about 10 times. but they just executed better than the Wildcats found themselves in the end zone.
Lockett waiting back deep, along with Tremaine Thompson. So 14-7 lead for the Red Raiders. And a returnable one down the middle. It'll be Lockett from the 1. Nice lane over to the right side. Angles it beautifully up the middle. He might go the distance. Do they have an angle? He's completely run away from them. Lockett's in. Touchdown K-State. Special teams so big once again. A block field goal, and now a kick return for a score. 99 yards for Tyler Lockett.
Decisiveness in the kick return. Joel, I always say it's one of the best traits that a returner can have. He follows his blockers, and then when he sees the lane, bang, right there. He cuts back, and he's north and south, straight up the field, and now it's all about speed. Angles away from the defense. The kick return, kickoff team, and finds himself in the end zone. What a great return from Lockett.
And then they go and miss the extra point. A rarity. So Cantelli cannot tie it up. It's wide left on an extra point. 14:32 left in the first half. A wild start as K-State doesn't have much offensively, but they're right where they want to be. With good reason. 18-year-old true freshman Tyler Lockett out of Tulsa. And boy, the Lockett family has been very good. It works both ways for K-State.
Generational deal. Kevin Lockett, of course, was a terrific receiver. Kevin's brother Aaron was here, and Tyler Lockett, Kevin's son, shows up at Kansas State, had that big reception against Miami, and now a huge return against Texas Tech. A true freshman, won a state title a year ago. How about that smile?
And what they have done without much offense tonight, and I bring it up because now that is the second most since 1999. They have a interception return for a score. They have a kick return for a score. That is Sean Snyder, the coach's son, and he is their special teams coordinator. Does anybody, since he took over in '89, and you got to remember there's a lot of JUCO transfers on this squad and former walk-ons we talked about, does anybody get more out of his team than Bill Snyder? They're only down by a point in a tough place to play. It is McRoy. He is 7th best in the nation on kick returns with a stiff arm, only to the 24, and takes his shot. Now, a look back on the magic Lockett just provided.
I thought it was decent blocking. It wasn't great, but he found the lane, the decisiveness to cut back. Texas Tech gets just out of position right there, and he finds the lane, cuts back. Everybody stays with their block, and now it's a foot race. A tremendous job from Tyler Lockett.
You know, he had an early alley. We had it over to the right side.
And then he cut back.
Then he recognized the flow. And he did a phenomenal job. So now, Texas Tech, they have 200 yards to about 40 for K-State, yet it's a ball game early. And low catch, good grab. Going down to get it for Daggy was Eric Ward. A sophomore from Wichita Falls, who he's been their big score guy this year, touchdown-wise. 8 touchdowns coming in. It'll be 2nd and 7. So Daggy has spread the ball around. 8 different receivers already. It'll be Crawford making a miss. His best run of the night. Man, he's got a first down. Gain of about 8 for Crawford.
You never want to see Tyson Hartman, number 2, your safety, with the first contact. Untouched until the 3rd level of the defense.
On first down. Little dump off for Crawford. Just a check down. And good for 7, maybe 8.
This is going to be a real game of patience for Seth Daggy. He's going to be forced to check the ball down to his backs a lot, snap the ball a lot, and you're already seeing that. Kansas State only 38 yards on 15 plays. Tech has already ran 31 plays for well over 200 yards. So
if you're Kansas State, you feel like you're in great shape. Because you're still going
absolutely, this is their type of game.
Right, and you feel like, well, the offense has to click eventually and gain some momentum. On 2nd and short. Yeah. It's wide at the intended target. They wanted a flag on the safety, Zimmerman. Won't get it on the coverage.
Zimmerman, the best player in the back end, is going to be coming over the top. Very close. Very close.
Put that hand on the shoulder pad.
Yeah, he did. He did get him just a little bit, but no flag thrown. You hear the crowd reacting after they see it on the Jumbotron.
So now 3rd and short. Red Raiders 1 of 4. Man on the give. Crawford breaks the tackle, and boy, the extra effort. A couple of times he had to get away to get the first down.
Well, he had a collision with number 2, Tyson Hartman. He just wanted it more and wanted to move the chains.
Going to be a first down at the 46. Daggy low and away. And that was almost one time where we didn't see a lot of conviction in the throw. There is a flag and is a roughing on the quarterback as he looked for Eric Ward.
Holding, number 66 of the offense. It's a 10-yard penalty, and it's still 2nd down.
That's Gallington, the right guard.
I thought that could have gone either way. Volker is at the bottom of your screen. He was coming in. Actually, it was on number 94. You see how Daggy goes down late. Anytime he goes down late, you just never know about that flag. They're going to get him for the hold, pushes Tech back.
Now on 1st and 20. Bubble out in the flat. And nothing doing for Douglas.
That plays directly into the hands for Kansas State. Forcing the short pass from Seth Daggy. Corralling the ball carrier. Tackling well in the open field. Texas Tech needs to attack the middle of the field right now, those middle seams.
Daggy looking underneath, goes over the top. It's available. Douglas has it for a first down inside the 30 and on the spin to the 25-24.
Joel, exactly what I was talking about. The middle of the field and the down the field seams. You're going to see the big open area in the middle of the field past the linebackers. If you get the protection and you get past that 2nd level, it becomes a very easy throw.
He hit him in stride. And another offside on Kansas State. 3rd time tonight. Daggy, middle of the field and behind, his intended target. He was trying to get it to Marquez, but he had a free snap once again. Boy, that hard count's working.
Uncharacteristic of Kansas State.
Offside, number 95 of the defense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still 1st down.
That's Ray Kibble, who has had a sensational start for this team this year.
Kibble's on the inside, and you just hate it when it's your tackles. They're right over the football. The hard count is getting it. That's twice now the nose tackle has jumped off sides. Bill Snyder is not going to be happy about that. In fact, he's all the way out on the field, giving it to his defense a little bit right now. They need to play discipline.
So it's a first down on another long drive for Texas Tech. And give to Washington. Not much as he's tripped up, maybe 2. Jim Knox.
All right, Tyson Hartman now back on the field, but a couple of plays ago that collision with Crawford sent him to the sidelines. They were checking out his neck, but he's back, guys. He sat out the last couple of plays.
All right, Hartman, the senior from Wichita. He forced a fumble, a huge play in the Baylor game. Won that by 36-35 when Robert Griffin late in the game for his first pick of the year, and it turned into the winning points. 2nd and 3. Pocket holds up. Man, he's got a first down. Going out to Eric Ward once again. So that's 9 now that have caught it from Daggy, as Seth Daggy is 18 of 24 for better than 220. Not a bad start. He's got his 2nd pick of the year, though. You know, 1 interception with 17 touchdowns over the first 5 games. An interception on his 2nd throw of the night tonight. Timeout has been called by K-State. Adjustments needed.
They had a blitz called. Bill Snyder didn't like it. Chris Kosh, the defensive coordinator, didn't like it. Had to take a timeout, go back to the sideline.
So the Red Raiders driving once again. 4 minutes into the 2nd quarter. A 1-point lead. When we come back, Kevin Frazier, Marcus Allen join us in our Coors Light studio. Thank you, Kevin. And Marcus. 1-point game, but Texas Tech starting back at their own 24. Now it's a 1st and 10 at the 11. 11:04 left in the half. Pressure comes and they bat it down on Dagey. One of the few times they've actually been able to penetrate like that as Lemur got in there.
They finally pressured. They finally blitzed. They played man-to-man coverage on the outside and forced Seth Dagey to hold the ball for a fraction of a second longer than he wanted to and allowed the rush to get there. One more guy than Texas Tech could block.
And give the block to Ray Kibble getting up there. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 11. Crawford going nowhere. Boy, in the backfield was Davis waiting for him, the left end out of Folkestone, Georgia. Adam Davis, second big stop for him tonight.
And a couple of huge plays in a row for Kansas State. This is where you just want to call base defense and force Seth Dagey to throw a check down and force a field goal for Kansas State. The last thing they want to do is create a one-on-one matchup and a vulnerability that Dagey can exploit.
And so often, as you look at the red zone graphic, so often spread teams have problems inside the 20 punching it in. That has not been the case. Another offside. There's movement up front, and maybe it's a false start this time because Kansas State did lean over to the center to the right guard side. But spreads usually have problems inside the red zone.
A false start by number 74 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still 3rd down.
This is big Mickey Okafor. He comes back. He was coming back from an injury. He's the tackle at the top of your screen. Actually, it was more the guard. They called that on Okafor, but Gallington, number 66, was really the one that leaned out of there, Joel.
Guilt by association. And a mark off of 5. 5 minutes gone in the second quarter. Second penalty on Texas Tech. They need to take it to the 1 for a 1st down. On 3rd down, Dagey way over the head of his intended target, Eric Ward. Wasn't close. So another field goal try coming up. Last one blocked, but it was a long one, and it could have been a little bit lower.
And another win for Kansas State to get off the field. It was a long drive. It was an effective drive, but in the end, they're forcing a kick. Whether it's a punt or a field goal, you're happy if you're a Wildcat right now.
Well, Corona, his only time out there tonight, had a 49-yarder blocked. This is going to be a 38-yard attempt. And it's blocked again. Do you believe it? Picked up on the outside by Malone. It's live. And there goes Malone. Look out. He's got an open field over to the left side. And barely tripped up by Corona. Man, Kansas State special teams. There's a reason they're second best in the nation over the last 10+ years in non-offensive scores.
And for the second time tonight, Raphael Guidry gets in through the middle of the line of scrimmage. There's big number 94 again. Gets in. That is way too easy. Creating vulnerabilities. Inside, in between the tackles. And again, things that you can control. Effort level on a field goal try. And Guidry gets in and blocks it.
Well, and how do you lose a 6'4", 300-pounder? It was almost like he was untouched. Now K-State looks to take the lead. Hubert, instead Klein on the carry. And good yardage on 1st down. Now they have an opportunity to run their offense in plus territory.
And really take the air out of this stadium. And Texas Tech, who had some momentum, they've had some clean drives. We've seen the total yards for Texas Tech. They're moving the ball, not getting a lot of points off of it. Kansas State needs to hold the ball, methodically take their way down the field toward the goal line.
260 yards for Texas Tech, and before that snap 38. Make it 43 yards now after the 5-yard run. Shovel pitch. Little stutter step action. Hubert's got a 1st down. Inside the 36, close to the 35.
Physical run at the end. Hubert lowers his shoulder against Terrence Bullitt. Number 1, the fifth defensive back for Texas Tech in that 4-2-5. Terrific physicality out of Hubert to move the chains at the end. He knows the collision's coming. He lowers his shoulder, gets the 1st down.
Special teams don't mean much, do they?
Oh, my goodness.
It's a 1st down. Now short side. Block from Hubert. And a nice play underneath. Getting out on the edge. And making the stop, it was Scott Smith once again. Otherwise, that's good yardage.
Klein did a nice job of being patient, allowing that to develop, but Smith just made a better play from his defensive end position to get off the ball, off the block, shed the block, and bring Klein down. Wildcat here. Klein's going out, lining up as a receiver.
Angelo Peace in the backfield, along with the fullback Wilson, and also John Hubert. Hubert shifts out, wide receiver, top of your screen. Peace. And he's got a yard on a scramble, maybe 2, inside the 32.
That's not a bad play for Kansas State. Remember, this is a methodical team. They didn't want to be in 3rd and 8, but 3rd and 6 is much more manageable for Colin Klein and this offense. Exactly what Bill Snyder wanted to happen tonight is happening for them. Special teams and methodical drives out of their offense.
They don't have a point from their offense yet, although halfway through the second quarter, an opportunity to take the lead. Out of the gun, good time, 3rd and 6, and a low throw, sliding grab, Lockett. He has been the focal point, specials and offense tonight. His second catch and a first down.
It was good protection for enough time for Colin Klein. And I got to credit him for the patience of standing in there, even though he's more of a running quarterback, while the pocket is collapsing, and he gets the ball all the way down the field to move the chains. What a great throw from Klein.
And it's like Bill Snyder said, he's got the respect of his teammates because of the degree of toughness he brings to the position. It'll be Hubert maneuvering his way and scrambling inside the 15 down to the 13. Boy, it showed some quick feet there. So all of a sudden, quieting things down in the Red Raider Nation.
I like the vision for Hubert. He's going to let his offensive line wash everything down to the right. Couple of jump cuts, and that's where he finds green grass to fall forward for 4 yards.
Gets 4. And now, as you talked about, a manageable second downs for K-State. Hubert again, boy, huge hole up the middle. As he's pushed back from the 9, and a flag at the end of the play. It may be a 1st and goal.
After the play, the personal foul, unnecessary roughness by number 11 of the defense. It's half the distance to the goal and an automatic first down.
That's Leon Mackey, the defensive end.
Leon Mackey with some extracurricular. He's just beyond McDonald. You see right at the end, that's number 50, Nick Pitts, the left guard. Just too much right in front of the official, draws the penalty. Exactly what Kansas State wanted. 1st and goal inside the 5 with some momentum and rhythm in that running game.
Trying to get the first points of the night offensively. Option roll, Klein lunges inside the 1. He's a running quarterback, more than a passing quarterback. He is 7th overall. That's quarterbacks, tailbacks, you name it, anything you want. 7th in the Big 12 in rushing.
And what a great kid. Had an opportunity yesterday, Joel, with you and Jim Knox and all of us on the production team to sit and talk with Colin Klein, a terrific individual and a tough kid. 6'5", 230, you'd think he's a pocket passer. He's a running quarterback first, averaging over 4 yards a carry this season.
And you don't have to talk to his high school coach, I guess. He was homeschooled.
That's right. That's right.
He's from Loveland, Colorado. It'll be 2nd and goal. And up the middle, he's in. Touchdown, K-State. Took a while, but he was there. So Colin Klein puts K-State up again. And I say again because 37 seconds into the game they led on an interception return for a score by Nigel Malone.
At 230 pounds, why not get behind your big offensive line? Look at him, foot to foot, shoulder to shoulder. Klein's not even touched by a black jersey. Just fits behind all that white and gets it into the end zone.
Now let's see if they can negotiate the extra point. Last one was hooked wide left. It was hooking, but it made it through. And it's a 6-point lead for the Wildcats, trying to go 6-0. 4:54 left in the half, and K-State regains the advantage. Okay, for Texas Tech, except the scoreboard, and that guy, Colin Klein, is pumping him up.
Shouldn't be surprised. That's the blueprint for Bill Snyder. He doesn't mind if they're doubled up in yards right now. 9 plays, 46 yards on the last drive, set up by Guidry's second block field goal of the night.
It'll be taken by McRoy. Back at about the 5. And a huge hole up the middle, closes in a hurry near the 28. Academy Sports and Outdoors, game break time as we go to Kevin Frazier and Marcus Allen. Yeah, we're shocked too, Kevin. We can tell. You guys are surprised. 4:50 left in the half. And a little quick out. Taken in. As it's a gain of about 7 or 8 by Swindle. Well, he's already thrown 27 passes. 66 balls thrown last week, but they're trailing big against A&M and then tried to make the comeback. It's not a large deficit. Let's see if the running game is going to be a factor. Yeah, it's going to be a factor for a first down. And what a landing that time. Looked like a gymnast, didn't he, Aaron Crawford?
Aaron Crawford, very good back. He's not Eric Stevens, but he's a very good back. Crawford and DeAndre Washington, who we've already seen in the end zone tonight, very capable backups for Eric Stevens.
So first down. And again a bullet. Good grab. And good yardage. It's taken in by Torres. Boy, the velocity.
Yeah, I like Seth Dagey and his presence in the pocket. Watch how he steps up, steps through his drop, and then delivers the ball accurately down the field.
Yeah. Scrambling over to the left side. Good run into the secondary. Look out. Crawford into the secondary. Touchdown, Texas Tech. .51 yards on the carry for Aaron Crawford. Do you want to go for 2 the way their kicking game has worked? Extra point try coming up for Corona. Took a long time to regain the lead. 4 plays, 72 yards covered in exactly 60 seconds.
That is Texas Tech football. Quick strike, offense, offense, offense. Boy, they have got some players. Remember, Eric Stevens goes down a week ago. He's their #1 back. This is their backup, Aaron Crawford. And how about this run? Good balance and vision, finding the hole, and then the cutback late to get himself into the end zone. This is not easy to do against Kansas State, because Kansas State normally very sound against the run. Very base defense that they throw out there. Not a lot of man coverage, which you see long runs against, Joel.
And you got to remember that Crawford, he's a senior from Memphis. His dad played college ball at Memphis State in the old days before it was the University of Memphis. He figures going into the season, how many touches do I get my senior year because of Stevens?
He only had 8 carries coming into tonight's ball game on the year. Now he's going to be asked to do much more with Stevens out. Deliver some fireworks there on a 51-yard touchdown run.
That'll help your average. He's got 76 yards already on the ground. Inside of 4. And it'll be staying in the end zone. So K-State has it at their own 20, down by 1. Jim Knox.
Tell you what, Joel, this is a back and forth game. You don't want to miss the second half. Homecoming in Lubbock, so the 12th man could be the difference, like Jane Kirkendall, 1939 cheerleader. Go for it, Jane. 90 years young right there. Joe Clack couldn't do that in his heydays, guys.
Knox, don't leave.
That's
please help her up, Jim.
Oh. I think I just tore my hamstring.
It's a 1-point game. It hurt up here. 3:55 left in the half. Now the scoreboard tells the whole story as you look at the differential. The explosiveness of Texas Tech means nothing. They've been hurt on specials, and right out of it, that's rare for K-State. A delay of game.
It's a 5-yard penalty.
So they've had
and it's still first
3 offsides and a delay of game.
They normally snap it inside of 10 seconds, but that wasn't anything other than Colin Klein didn't look up to the play clock. Sometimes that does happen to quarterbacks when they're this far into their own end at the 15-yard line. You just forget about looking that far into your end zone.
Now out of the gun. It's Hubert, and he won't make it back to the line. Good penetration up front. Well, first one there, and cleaning up, it was Trey Porter. But the guy that torpedoed it was Dartwan Bush.
And Dartwan Bush is feeding off of the momentum created by that long run from their offense. This is what Kansas State is not built for. They're built to take the momentum away from teams with long drives and running the ball methodically down the field. Very tough for them when the defense gets the momentum and is playing fast.
Coaches say when you're off schedule, it really hurts, and that's the case now for Kansas State. Shovel and a good open field play for Hubert. Making a miss across the 25 and a manageable third down coming up now. Great play call.
Terrific play call by Dana Dimel in his 14th season with Bill Snyder as the offensive coordinator. The shovel, we've seen it twice today. I love how Colin Klein sells it to the left. Really sells it looking all the way outside. Then shovels underneath the Hubert, and Hubert does a great job of getting up there, making this a manageable third down.
They've hit half of their third down tries so far. Out of the gun, needs 5. Pocket holds up. Man, it's deflected. Good play underneath. He was trying to get it to Chris Harper, but it was deflected before it ever came close.
Terrence Bullitt, number 1, fell underneath that route. Terrific defense in anticipation of where they were trying to go. They were trying to throw that curl about 10 yards deep. Falls underneath it, bats it away.
So it's 3 and out, and an opportunity now for Texas Tech to extend the lead. Zuzelik. They have a chance to return one finally. Real good hang time for Dora. Man, ooh, hard hit, and leading with his helmet brings a flag. It was simultaneous on the catch by Zuzelik and the hit.
There's no halo rule in college football anymore. You can be as close to him as possible. You can hit him right when he touches the ball. Speaking of the returner, Zuzelik.
A personal foul by number 22 of the kicking team. It's a 15-yard penalty, and it's a first down.
It's Thomas Ferguson. And was it the use of the helmet?
See how his head goes down, Joel, and targets him high.
Helmet to helmet.
So tough. This is one of the toughest things to do in all of football. Be one of the gunners on the punt team. The timing, but you see there, that's the look that the official had, and it's clear from that look that it's going to draw a flag.
Out to the 45 after the mark off of 15. So a short field now with 2:28 to play in the half. Good pocket protection again. Man, close to the first down on the grab. As once again, they hit Ward. That's been his favorite target here in the first half. First and 10 line is brought to you by Mazda. It won't be up long because the ball is moving quickly with Texas Tech. Man, not that quickly. Kansas State with a good penetration on Crawford. Was Guidry getting into the backfield. The guy that's blocked 2 field goals already. So now timeout has been taken with 2:02 to play.
In that game, so Kansas State trying to keep pace with the Cowboys and the Sooners.
Now 3rd and 6. They bring more as Nagy has single coverage, and he's got a first down going to Alex Torres. But they gambled on the outside, brought the extra pass rush. Single coverage.
Arthur Brown is coming on a bit of a delayed blitz. And Seth Nagy is so patient in the pocket. He knows he's going to get hit, but allows his receiver the opportunity to come open late over the middle. But great poise from Nagy in the pocket.
It's complete to the 35. Nagy again. And dropped as it was available. DeAndre Washington. He's done a lot of good things tonight, and that was just resourcefulness by Nagy. He was ready to throw the ball away.
Yeah, just manipulating the pocket a little bit to find those extra seconds back there to try to find an open receiver. Very smart from Seth Doege.
So 31, make it 32 after that last one. 32 passes thrown by Doege in the first half alone. Good pocket protection. Bam. Good grab by Ward. He's short of the first down by about 3. They wouldn't have to try another field goal, would they?
Better block Guidry if that happens. Here's Ward working a curl route. Very easy against zone defense. You see him sit. He didn't float anywhere. That's exactly what you want your receiver to do from a quarterback standpoint versus zone. Give you the numbers, sit down, let me throw you the football, frame you up.
Their second time out of the half.
Hit you right on the chest.
Out.
And as we watched film yesterday of Kansas State defensively, they want to, you're not going to go over their head.
No, exactly.
It's in front of them.
Going to try to keep everything.
3. There's Guidry, who's been a big playmaker on special teams as well as getting into the backfield. Now, pocket collapsing. Doege, little dump off. Will Crawford get there? He's got the first down inside the 25 to the 21. And again, Doege just didn't panic.
In crucial situations, Kansas State is automatically going to that one-person pressure and playing man-to-man behind him.
Inside of a minute left. A lot of time for Texas Tech. Man, grab is made. First and goal. Diving to the goal line. Did he get there? It looked like Ward was out of bounds, and they're going to say he was at about the 2. But again, a nice strong throw.
Great throw. Good timing by the wide receiver coming back out of that break. There he is trying to tightrope. I think they're saying that left foot was the one out of bounds.
They'll go in a hurry. And over to the left side. Slamming it. It'll be Williams down to the 1. He is there. Kenny Williams is a short yardage back. His first carry, his first activity of the night. He stays in the backfield. And Doege will keep it. He's in. Texas Tech touchdown.
Texas Tech came back with the same play. Running backs going that way. As soon as the defensive end crashes down, Doege goes on the outside. Easy read for Doege, easy touchdown. Terrific job by Texas Tech.
Easy has not been an operative term for the place kicker tonight, but Corona drills it for the extra point. So now an 8-point lead with 35 seconds left in the half. And again, Doege engineering it very efficiently. And we talked about the patience, and he never panics when he is in the pocket.
Well, early in this game, he threw that pick 6. I was wondering how he was going to come back, and he has just been sensational during the course of this game. Kansas State giving them those middle seams down the field. He's thrown with great timing on the outside on the comeback routes, giving his wide receivers a chance, deep, high, letting them going up and get it, and then decision-making in the run game. That defensive end crashes. Doege walks into the end zone. 28 points. Even though Kansas State has done everything that they wanted to do so far in this game, Doege has been so good, almost 300 yards. After that pick 6 early, boy, this offense, it hasn't been stopped except for a couple of blocked field goals.
Yeah, they've made some mistakes, as you mentioned, and their own undoing has been special teams. Whether it's covering a kick or protecting on placements. All 4 touchdown drives by Tech, typical, under 3 minutes. And now the line drive, right past the return man, Thompson. So 35 seconds left, only 1 timeout on the board. And do they have a timeout remaining, Kansas State? Yes, 1, but you got to believe they're headed to the locker room with an 8-point deficit.
Yeah, they're not built to score in 35 seconds. I'll be shocked if they do anything except take a knee here. Well, they're going to line up in a regular formation. Probably give Hubert a chance in the run game.
6th possession of the game for K-State. It's Hubert for 5. And that should do it for the first half of play. So a wild one where special teams were critical for Kansas State because offensively they did not manufacture a lot. They had that short field after the block of the second field goal by Corona. Man, Colin Klein And Bill Snyder's squad made the most of it. A 46-yard field. And Colin Klein got into the end zone. Their only points offensively. So K-State in great shape when you consider Texas Tech has really marched up and down the field. We check in with Jim Knox. Knoxy.
Thank you, Joel. Coach, you got to be pleased. You know, you take away those 2 blocked field goals, a few mistakes in the first half, but yet your offense is clicking. 296 total yards.
Yeah, we can move the ball on just about anybody. We're just playing such a horrific special teams. I think we all noticed that. But, you know, we just got to keep our focus. They're doing a good job of turning their body and getting in on our field goals. We can correct that. The big thing we got to do is just keep our poise, and it looks like we did the first half. We usually play better the second half. Hopefully we do.
All right, appreciate the time, Coach. Halftime in Lubbock, and Texas Tech leading Kansas State 28-20. When we return, we'll take you to the Coors Light studio with Kevin Frazier and Marcus Allen right after this quick timeout. Stay with us.
Zone read. It's not what they do all the time, but he executes it to perfection right there for a touchdown for the Red Raiders.
So you look at the numbers and you figure K-State's in great shape. 296 through the air to 49 passing yards. And you look at the overall total yardage between the two teams, and they're only down by 8. The special teams, as Joel mentioned, such a key factor once again for Bill Snyder's squad. Luckett back deep along with Thompson. Now, as Tommy Tuberville told Jim Knox, they can get it straight when it comes to blocking for the field goals. Let's see what their adjustments are going to be. Lockett will take it from the goal line. Ben spun around past the 20 up to the 23. Well, a huge disparity when you talk about the quarterbacks, but we knew that going in.
Colin Klein was never going to be asked to sit there and get in a shootout with Seth Doege. It just wasn't going to happen. Doege, very special. 25 of 34 for 296. After that pick 6, early second play of the game, he's been sensational.
So now K-State has it. Klein and the offense on the field from their own 23. They started to look better offensively in the second 15 minutes of play. Ton of time for Klein, and he goes to the big tight end. Travis Tannehill with his first grab at a first down. So a bit of a surprise throwing on first down to come out of the locker room.
It was difficult for them early in the half, in the first half, to find some of those running lanes. And so early you're already seeing a halftime adjustment from Bill Snyder. Says let's throw it and try to get them out of that run box so that we can run it later in the half.
The game takes it for 15 to the 38. Good pocket protection. Shallow cross. It's Harper, and he's got another first down. So they've found some things, obviously, at halftime when they talked it over that they could do to, against the defense attack.
And this is what they needed to do, is get Chris Harper going. 19 catches for over 225 yards on the year. Over 10 on average, and you see his speed on that shallow cross. I like what Klein did with the ball placement, too. An opportunity to run after the catch.
Big gain all the way to the 40-yard line. So 2 snaps, 2 passes for Colin Klein. Short ones, and they both work for big yardage. And uncovered. It's Lockett. A breakdown. Nobody accounted for Lockett. A gain of about 7. Jim Knox.
All right, Joel, there's a reason for this. Talked to Bill Snyder right before kicking off the second half. He said, we got to open it up. He said, if we got 95 yards of total offense like the first half, we might as well go home. That's why they're throwing the football, guys. They need some big plays. And he also said they need to coach it better. Looks like they're doing that right now early on here in the second half.
Okay, so a difference in philosophy for Bill Snyder to start the second half. Thanks, Jim. Klein throwing once again. Double clutch. Is it a double move? And over his shoots, Chris Harper. Well, the way it started out for K-State, they struggled, to say the least. First 2 possessions, Joel, they didn't get a first down.
It started to open up, though. That third possession of the game, even though they punted, they ran the 9 plays. Then they got that ball inside their own territory. After the blocked field goal, they punched it in. And then a punt before the half, just kind of a run-out drive. They weren't trying to do much anyways on that one.
It's a 3rd and short. 3rd and about 3. Single set. It's Hubert. Option. Wide side of the field. Klein breaks the tackle. Yeah, I think he's got the nose of the football for the first down. Boy, what an effort by Colin Klein. So Hubert was on the trail, but Klein was never giving it up.
A couple of different times as he's running down the heel line, right down the line of scrimmage, you think he's going to get tackled. And then he cuts it up and dives for that yard marker and ultimately gets it. This is the toughness that we talked about at the top of the show. Terrific run by Colin Klein.
And the drive had started back at their own 23. Now, little gadget play, Lockett on the reverse. Man, good recovery by Texas Tech after a gain of only 3. Bush got over there. And the leaders into the locker room, both offensively and defensively.
Yeah, John Hubert, he's going to have to find some success here in the second half. Tyson Hartman, he's been all over the field trying to make tackles, especially with how many snaps Texas Tech has had offensively.
Spread the defense. It's rare when K-State's had a 3 wide receiver set. And they've got it now on 2nd and 8. He looks one way. And now escapability. Middle of the field's available. Colin Klein, 1st and goal inside the 5. There's a reason he is 7th in the Big 12 in rushing. Getting up slowly, though, as Davis chopped him low to make the stop.
Watch the decision-making from Colin Klein. Tries to go left, then wants to throw it for a second time, wants to throw it for a 3rd time before he actually tucks it down and runs and finds the green grass. Great decision-making from Colin Klein.
You know, normally you're 6'5", 2 1/4. You don't run like that. He's a long, lanky quarterback with good wheels. 1st and goal. First possession of the second half. Looking for a fade, corner of the end zone. Harper's got it. Touchdown, K-State. How about that throw?
Let's go, Harp. Let's go.
It was a check at the line of scrimmage. He saw, Colin Klein saw the one-on-one Harper had on the outside, finds it, and then just delivers an absolute dime on the outside to Harper. That is as good as you can throw it right there. Wow.
Colin Klein with more completions on this drive than he had in the entire first half. So we talked about the change in philosophy. For Bill Snyder, as he mentioned to Jim Knox, coming out in the locker room and to pay it off. Cantelli makes it a 1-point ball game. Got a good one going. What an impressive drive to start this second half, and adjustments made for the Wildcats of K-State. So through the air, K-State. It's dinner time. Welcome back to Lubbock, Texas. Texas Tech getting ready to touch it for the first time in the second half, and smiles now for the offensive unit. They were frustrated in the first half. They opened it up to start the second half, Joel.
Well, a tremendous drive, and it started with Colin Klein and his throwing ability. That's not what Kansas State hangs their hat on, but they did on that last series. Very effective.
It'll be Marquez bringing it back. The wide receiver hit early and dropped right past the 20 at the 21. What a burger, what a play. Chris Harper, how about the throw?
The throw was just sensational, right where you wanted in that back corner of the end zone. We call it that back box. The quarterbacks a lot of times in practice will stand there with a trash can and try to throw touch passes to the back of the end zone, make it in the trash can. That was an easy 6-pointer there for Colin Klein. Tremendous throw.
So now Daggy back out there after a very successful first half, despite the disastrous start. Man, hits it out once again. It is Torres. And the possessions for the Red Raiders, I talked about it. His second throw of the game was a pick 6.
Well, after that punt, there was just a lot of scoring chances. Those 2 blocked field goals, the only reason that Kansas State was able to stay close.
Daggy on the play fake, and a wide open Adam James. Boy, he's grown into a tight end. I remember when Adam showed up here in Lubbock. Wide receiver, good speed. Now he's 6'2", 230, 35. And the leaders for the Red Raiders.
Yeah, Eric Ward, a nice first half. And then Terrence Bullitt did a great job defensively, really disrupting what Kansas State was trying to do.
Ton of time for Daggy. Man, coming back to help him out. The grab made once again by Torres.
Those timing routes have been so effective for Texas Tech. Daggy's just throwing that right on time, very accurate, The wide receivers do a great job of running out of their breaks, Joel. Perfect combination.
Now Crawford, who already has a career high in the first half alone. He had 72 yards. His previous career best was 47. And the opportunity, somebody's got to step up with Stevens out of the lineup the rest of the year. The speed is going to be DeAndre Washington. Another play fake on second down. Man, quickly out on the edge he goes, and Adam James has it once again, and he's right at the marker. There's a flag at the end of the play.
A little play action, a run action pass, going to boot the quarterback. He doesn't need to go too far because James is open right away. We'll see what's going on with a little laundry on the field.
Pass interference by number 86 of the offense. It's a 15-yard penalty, and it's still second down.
Well, they're saying that Torres made contact while the ball was in the air for James. Didn't look like a pick play from that angle.
He was the outside receiver on that side and was just starting to block a little bit too early before Adam James had him. Here's Torres in your screen, and he's just going to start blocking too early. Gets into the cornerback there, Alan Chapman. Very easy call there for the official.
It's at the 35 after the mark-off, and now second and better than 20. Nothing doing. They thought they'd surprise and spread the defense as usual, but surprise K-State with a run up the middle by Crawford. Didn't work. So now third and forever. K-State trying to make personnel changes late. Will it burn them? Deggy over the middle and just off the hands. He was going for Zuzalik, the junior from right here in Lubbock.
Great coverage by Ty Zimmerman, freshman All-American a year ago, closing in on Zuzalik and goes up. He's actually the one with the chance there. Zuzalik bats it away at the last second. You see Zuzalik's hand. That's the only reason that that ball wasn't picked off by Ty Zimmerman.
This is going to be only the second punt of the game for Ryan Erxleben. 5 minutes into the third. And a low line drive. But it'll be a fair catch called for just the same by Thompson. So we'll come right back to West Texas. 5 minutes gone in the third. And K-State gets the ball back, looking for the lead. 7 yards. Now the principal edge of the game and the dual role that Colin Klein serves for this team, Joel.
Well, now those pass yards come more into effect in this second half on that first drive of the second half and throwing the ball very accurately.
Colin Klein's career high in passing, 146 yards, and it came recently in the 1-point win, 36-35 over Baylor.
Offsides by number 98 of the defense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still first down.
That's Langley underneath tackle.
What you saw Kansas State start to have success with is those crossing routes underneath. That's because Texas Tech was playing man defense in the first half and really loading the box against the run game of Kansas State. So a very good adjustment by the Wildcats at halftime.
And all of a sudden, look at the formation, Joel. 2 to each side for a Bill Snyder team. Opening things up here in the second half on a 1st and 5 after the mark-off. It's Hubert. Nice run and a first down on a gain of 7. With an update, let's join Jim Knox. Knoxy.
All right, Joel, it looks like Texas Tech defensive secondary has got a little thinner. Number 4, Derek Mays, right behind me. Hamstring injury. A strained hamstring. He has ice on his left hamstring right now, guys. He is out the rest of the game, and right now the way Kansas State is starting to throw the football, they could use him.
And their defensive coordinator, Joel, told us earlier this week he's their best cover corner. So he's on the sideline. A little thinner in the secondary, as you mentioned. Left tackles up Hansen.
A false start by number 70 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still first down.
It's that miserable feeling. You start going. He takes a couple of steps and realizes he's the only one out of the 11 who thought they were snapping the ball. Left tackle starts trying to get after it in the run game a little bit.
Feel like you're under a microscope there. Klein checking at the line. He's got a 1st and 15. And quarterback run all the way. Now what a run at that. 8-9 yards for Colin Klein, who averages 94 a game coming in. So we talked about the decisions.
Yeah, and this one was just a designed run, so he didn't have to decide to run this ball. They're just going to isolate John Hubert, the running back. Little guy's only 185 pounds, but he went up there and got a great block on Keelan Hubert in the middle of the field for Texas Tech. Good isolation play.
Man, he calls that at the line, Joel, where he obviously saw something between the seams. It was available. Now Hubert bouncing out. They washed out the left side, and he's got a first down. Boy, Kansas State now with a shift in momentum. So despite the 5-yard mark off to start things off.
Watch the block of number 37, Braden Wilson. He's who makes this play happen. Off the corner, you see Texas Tech try to blitz, and he just smothers that blitz and allows Hubert the edge to get outside to the left.
Now in the old traditional look with Hubert directly behind him. Out of the gun on a play fake. Here comes the hit. Ball's free. And did Texas Tech take it away? K-State, bottom of the pile. It is Colin Klein.
Wow.
Well, he's long. He's got good reach at 6'5".
6'5", 230 pounds. Pressure's coming from Smith on the edge, 94. He goes back inside, gets the ball out. What a fortunate bounce from K-State. Watch this ball bounce right back to Colin Klein, who didn't go back down all the way when Smith hit him.
It's a loss of about 3 on second down. Delay for Hubert. Man, it'll be another loss. Good speed up front and staying at home. Texas Tech gets their second consecutive tackle for a loss. So Leon Mackey over on that side, turning them in.
Texas Tech has been hurt playing man coverage in this half with those underneath routes. So you've seen them go back to zone, trying to keep everything in front of them. This is a perfect time to stay with that zone at 3rd and 15. Force Colin Klein to beat you deep.
You see his numbers so far. That's usually for a game about 96 yards. He had 600 passing over the first 5 this year. Now, pocket protection underneath and well short of the first down to his big tight end, Andre McDonald. But as you said, in this territory especially, a punt's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing for Kansas State, but Texas Tech did exactly what they needed to do right there. Stay deep and rally around the short pass. McDonald gets it. He's big, 6'8", 270. Rally up, lots of black hats around the ball. Tackle him, force the punt.
Zuzalik waiting for the door punt, back at about the 10. Another good one, hang time wise. Fair catch called for. And deep in their own territory, Texas Tech is going to have the ball when we come back in a 1-point game, 28-27. Texas Tech leading by 1, gets it back inside their own 10. Well, this college football season, Fox Sports proud to support Dream Foundation, making dreams come true for adults facing a life-threatening illness. There's no greater time to help those in need. And when time is limited, text DREAM to 41518. Donate $10 and turn dreams into lasting memories. Time now for our Toyo Tires. Driven to perform. Colin Klein trying to do that.
Well, and he's had to do it with his feet, throwing the football. A guy that's taken an interesting road here to Kansas State, was homeschooled in high school out of Loveland, Colorado. Comes here and he's performed very well tonight. Exactly what they've wanted him to do. Play clean, don't make mistakes, make some plays with your feet. And this was his best throw, the last touchdown pass to Harper to pull within 1 point.
So Tech, after the good punt by Dorr, has it at the 8. And DeAndre Washington, their quickest back now. With the injury to Eric Stevens. Gets about 4 on first down. Time for a Coors Light game break. Kevin Frazier, Mark is out, and what's cooking?
17-7.
Thank you, Kevin. Washington State, tough customer this year. Grabbing a first down beyond the 20. And taking it in, it's Alex Torres.
Paul Wolf, the head coach up there, gets his initial starting quarterback, Jeff Toole, back this week. But they're facing, in my opinion, the best player in college football, and Andrew Luck.
Running the football, and good yardage out to the 29. It's Crawford back into the game, adding to a career best already. Wouldn't it be ironic if Texas Tech now runs the football while K-State tries to throw it?
K-State starts to air it out. Now Texas Tech wants to run it every play, and they're having a lot of success against this Wildcat defense.
Second and short. Daggy with the bullet and a first down. Grab over there. Taken in by Swindle. Well, coming into the game, K-State or make it rather Texas Tech 7th in the Big 12 in rushing. And let's face it, all these years, especially since Mike Leach started here, and now Tommy Tuberville taking over, they're dead last every year in the Big 12 in rushing. But they have been a force on the ground. Better than 170 yards a game, which is a major move for them. And boy, talk about a good move by a quarterback. Grab is made. Zuzalek's got it. It took a while for him to come across the field, but the patience of Daggy again.
Yeah, and he buys some time with his feet. He's able to just move a little bit to his right and allow Zuzalek, who has one-on-one with Arthur Brown, which is a mismatch for Texas Tech, to come open late.
Little delay action. Running back slams it. Not much available that time. And in there, that's the fullback, Kenny Williams. He's kind of their fullback, short yardage guy.
True freshman out of Pflugerville. Burned his shirt earlier in the year trying to get him more carries here.
Daggy on second and about 8. Good adjustment by the wide receiver. Taken in by Kennard. So they're short of the first down by about 2. Second grab of the game for Marcus Kennard. They go deep. Now, we talked about it. 9 guys caught balls in the first half alone. Went to 9 different options. Joel Myers, Joel Klatt, Jim Knox, and a first down. It's Kenny Williams making his presence felt. Just slams it. Getting his way.
I like the way he runs. Boy, for a young kid, like we said, true freshman, weighs about 215 pounds. He's only 5'9", but he gets in there and goes north and south.
Daggy on a deep drop this time. Man, low and away. He's trying to get it to his back in the flat because the route he was looking at over to the near side was taken away from Ward.
Well, and this is why it's so hard to play a true freshman like Kenny Williams. He's going to come out of the ball game right now, but they want to play with such high tempo that if you're on the field, you got to stay on the field. So if you put Kenny Williams in, he's got to stay there for about 4, 5, 6 plays.
Now spread it completely. An empty backfield on 2nd and 10 to the 40. Ton of time, middle of the field, and contact, but no flag. So he's trying to get it to Adam James. Yeah, there was a little hand-to-hand both ways.
A little bit of contact, but I liked what Arthur Brown did. He targeted the receiver, and then he ran with him deep down the seam. Adam James has got to fight over that as the tight end because that's clearly the route that they've hurt the Wildcats with today. That's where Daggy is going to be looking for the rest of the night, especially in a situation like this, 3rd and 10.
Double screen. And does Douglas get it? Yes, he does. Down the sideline with a flag on the play. He's out of bounds. And was it with that block? Was it a hold for Douglas to be able to turn the corner? Right in front of the K-State bench.
A personal foul, hands to the face by number 11 of the offense. It's a 15-yard penalty and replay 3rd down.
So Swindle, the senior from Oklahoma City.
Swindle is on the outside. This is where you're going to see him. Where's his right hand? You see his right hand way up near the face now. It was on the corner of the shoulder pad, actually. That's a missed call by the official. It looked like it was on the face, but it was actually on the corner of the shoulder pad.
It was a pretty good hold, though.
It was a good hold, but not hands to the face. Break for Kansas State.
3rd and 15 now. Negates the first down. Deep down the middle. Tipped away at the last second. Trying to get James. And now, is there a flag? Yes. The time into the tip by Lemur was perfect. But did they hit a defenseless man? Now, was it helmet to helmet?
Late hit. A personal foul, unnecessary roughness by number 12 of the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Ty Zimmerman cited for the personal foul.
It was actually number 2, Tyson Hartman. Ty Zimmerman was called, but number 2, Tyson Hartman is coming in. There's Lemur with the great play. Wow.
Yep.
He even turns away from that. That's a poor call by the official. He tried to avoid contact after he was committed to the play.
Not much there, but a first down, and it's batted into the air. Latui was there, Volker was there, and it looked like Volker got it.
Jordan Volker, the walk-on, top of your screen, just gets his hand up. Also their tackle in there, Latui. These guys have been fighting hard all night to try to get to the quarterback.
Volker's father, Randall, a 3-year starter on the offensive line for the Wildcats. Back in the flat and dropped. Crawford getting ready to turn it upfield. Took his eyes off the ball completely.
This is when you start to miss Eric Stevens, because that's clearly right in his numbers, and he knows it by his reaction.
Well, if they don't convert here, field goal unit has not been friendly for Texas Tech tonight. They have had 2 blocked for 49 and 38 yards. And both by Guidry. Now Daggy trying to buy some time, and he'll just throw it away. That'll save the field goal attempt and avoid the sack and the loss. It's a good pressure. Once again, Meshach Williams flushed him out. So Raphael Guidry, who I just mentioned, and he's gone straight up between it looked like between the center and the guard on both occasions. Corona now. Can they get it straight? Did they make the proper adjustments to the blocking? It'll be a 47-yard attempt. It's on its way. Successful. They celebrate in Lubbock.
Tech finally got this kick coverage unit, or excuse me, the field goal unit shored up. You see the cross of the legs inside, the lineman's legs crossed. That means they're down in Austin.
Tyler Lockett has returned 1 already, 99 yards. Yeah, it was a very competitive game, but it was in Austin.
Not like that neutral site, you're talking about there, Cotton Bowl for Oklahoma.
Returnable from inside the 5. It'll be the 2 for Lockett. And the coverage better this time. Still he gets it all the way out as he lost it to the end, but maintains possession out to about the 28. Academy Sports and Outdoors game break. Let's go to Kevin Frazier and Mark. You don't have to remind the entire nation, Kevin, but we know too well.
It's going to be a long night in Lawrence.
What about Oklahoma State? They have, 56 at halftime at Kansas, against Kansas?
Wow.
Just 56. Now to the gun, 1st and 10 for the 27 Klein. Little dump off for Hubert. And good maneuvering by Hubert. Boy, yards after contact. That's what you call it. And a good job by Hubert. They have not been able to spring him for the big one yet. He got 6 on 1st down. 1st and 10 line is brought to you by Mazda.
It's an important drive for Kansas State. They got to answer those points. Even though it was just a field goal from Texas Tech, they have got to answer this with a nice sustained drive by their offense.
Klein, good play fake. And he's got a great grab. Thompson reading it perfectly. But I like Klein's activity in the backfield as well.
How about the catch by Thompson going up high? He's only 5'7". They're going to fake the zone read. Colin Klein actually ducks into the line and then stands back up and gives his wide receiver a chance. What a catch right there by Thompson. Wow, falling backwards onto his back, retaining possession as well.
He saw it, read it perfectly, working against Cody Davis, the weak safety. Now Hubert gashes it. Huge hole up the middle, spinning. It'll be 1st and goal inside the 10. This young man broke up all of LaDainian Tomlinson's high school rushing records in the Waco area. And I said, they haven't been able to really get him loose, and he did that time.
But this is what a running team does. They take advantage of the blitz. You saw the blitz there by Texas Tech. Finds the seam, and Hubert gets north and south and makes them pay. Kansas State now completely turning the tables on Texas Tech as far as yardage in the second half.
It'll be first and goal to the 8. And the ball to the ground. Klein again in a little bit of a miscommunication with Hubert.
Klein pointing to himself says it's my bad. Any indecision by the quarterback in the zone read game is going to produce a ball on the ground. You see he tried to pull it a little bit too quickly there, get too fast with the ball handling. Ball hits the ground. Bill Snyder not happy about that.
Loss of a yard back to the 9. Inside of a minute to play in a wild third.
Man-to-man coverage. They're coming on the blitz.
Klein will keep it. Has a man to beat. And he's down inside the 2. It'll be at the 1, third and goal. What a luxury when you have a quarterback who is that big and can run that well.
Going back to the zone read. Klein doing an excellent job of reading when he can find a hole. You see right there, he sees a seam and he decides to take it himself. Gets up and puts himself in a much better situation for a third and goal.
Hubert, Van Wilson, the fullback, stays in there. Play clock coming down. They just got it off. Short side option. He's in. Touchdown K-State, and they've got the lead on the road once again on the final play of the third.
How impressive was that drive by Kansas State? Capped by an audible by Colin Klein. He calls his own number. The defense over pursues to the left. He finds the seam. Touchdown Wildcats. 6 plays, 73 yards, 3 minutes off the clock.
And that's the strangest part of it all. Fast drives, quick scoring drives. Point after, it's perfect. So K-State leads by a field goal. Man, what a drive by Colin Klein once again. 2 of their 3 possessions, Colin Klein has scored on runs. Through 3, very good one going to the Big 12 tonight in Lubbock, Texas. End of 3, 34-31, and you're watching Big 12 College Football Saturday presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Welcome back for the final 15 minutes of regulation in Lubbock, Texas. Joel Myers, Joel Klatt, Jim Knox, our Sprint Unlimited update.
This was the second snap of the game. A pick six by Nigel Malone. But then Seth Dagey really found a rhythm. He found Cornelius Douglas down the seam for their first touchdown. They got the running game going. The true freshman, DeAndre Washington, finds the end zone. And then a true freshman for Kansas State. He comes back. This is Tyler Lockett. And he takes it the distance. A 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. He turns on the Jets and gets in late, right before the half. Seth Dagey finds himself in the end zone. But then in the second half, Kansas State comes out and throws the ball. Harper with a touchdown in the end zone. And after another methodical drive, a couple of plays made in the pass game, Colin Klein into the end zone. Kansas State offensively much more dynamic in the second half.
Here we go. Start of the 4th. And it's going to be Marquez. Backpedaling's going to bring it out anyway. And he pays. He is the fastest on the offensive side. It didn't work that time. Our Geico quote of the game from the athletic director, John Curry, talking about his head coach. A constant in an unconstant world. Those who choose to listen, see it, it works. And that has a snowball effect. Those who didn't listen think, hey, maybe I should too. Well, it's worked for a long time.
He has over 150 wins at Kansas State. 104.
So back up for K-State is Jared Loomis.
Loomis was the one who made the tackle. Here he comes, being blocked in. Ooh.
Yeah, snapped his head back. So good to see him. But what a shot. That whiplash effect. Back to Bill Snyder. Back for his 3rd season. It's pretty amazing. With all the transfers they bring in, little shovel action. And I talked about the fastest guy on the team, needs some touches. Bradley Marquez, at least the fastest on the offensive side. He's another 18-year-old, first-year freshman. He's from Odessa.
And a great athlete. He was selected in the 16th round by the New York Mets in the baseball draft, signed with them, plays in the summer as a professional baseball player, comes back here to Texas Tech in the spring and in the fall. So a sensational athlete. You can see why they try to get him touches, as there was a penalty called against Texas Tech that's going to back them up inside their own 10.
So the mark-off keeps it at first down. But now it's going to be first and 17. Just outside their own 6. Deggy. And safety valve is Crawford in the flat. So some breathing room, so he won't have to throw out of his own end zone. It's complete to the 13-yard line.
Yeah, and just chip away. The 1st and 20, all you got to do as a quarterback, you just try to chip away in order to potentially move the chains. If you try to get it all back and one down, you find yourself at 2nd and 20 or 3rd and 20.
So after the good kick coverage, the Red Raiders deep in their own territory. Yeah, breaking the tackle and getting the first down is Alex Torres. He's been a workaholic for Deggy tonight. And did he ever have some yards after contact? They didn't wrap him.
This is Chapman, number 3. Alan Chapman, the nickelback, who's had to play a ton of snaps, and he just doesn't wrap up.
Going to be from the 27. Crawford goes low as he lunges through for about 5 out to the 33. It's a 3-point lead for Kansas State.
But this is very normal. We've seen Tech move the ball, play fast. It's just the fact that they've missed 2 field goals and been held to field goal on the last drive.
Special teams difference in the game. It's complete. Little turn in. And it goes to Kennard, Marcus Kennard.
Kansas State right now trying to wholesale change their defensive line, do lots of substituting, even though Texas Tech is not substituting.
50 attempts for close to 400 yards now. It's 38 completions.
The offense substituted, and the defense did not have time to match up and clear the field. We'll replay the down.
I didn't see the offense substitute. I think that's what Tommy Tuberville is so upset with, is that I thought it was just Kansas State trying to get off the field. It looked like the same 11 on the field for the Red Raiders.
And that's when the umpire will get over the ball if they do substitute. So the defense has the opportunity. Deggy has it taken away. It's loose. And coming away with it is Kansas State. The opportunistic group once again. Meshach Williams coming around the corner.
Another junior college player. There's 13 transfers in the 2 deep on the defense for Kansas State, and Meshach Williams, 245 pounds, just beats the tackle with speed. Mickey Okafor, and gets to the ball. Deggy a little bit careless with his mechanics. The ball goes into one hand right at the end as he's trying to release that football. Meshach Williams takes advantage. Turnover for the Wildcats.
Now, how big is this? Short field from the 34. Second turnover of the game for Texas Tech. Hubert trying to bounce away. Man struggles for about 2-3 yards. So the last time Colin Klein had a short field, they capitalized. Took it away and got it to the 46.
Well, you see right now why Kansas State sits in the top 3 in most defensive categories. They just force the offense to be perfect time and time again, and it's very tough to do for a college offense.
Second and a little more than 8. It's up to the Red Raider defense now. Hubert waited. And spins it inside the 30 down to about the 28. So can they hold him to a long field goal try? We'll know after this third down.
I love Hubert's patience behind the big offensive line. Watch him basically come to a halt right there and then find the seam and get north and south and finds positive yardage. Sets up his team for a more manageable third down.
He can get lost, can he, at 5'7"? Trying to locate him. So hitting half the third down so far, and movement. False start. Boy, the mistakes.
A false start by number 50 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still third down.
And very few long mark-offs, as we talked about it in the first half, Joel.
There's Nick Pitts. He's the one that just falters as Colin Klein looks like he's going to come up and actually change the play. That's frustrating for Kansas State. This is not the situation that they're great in at 3rd and 9. Colin Klein has to make a play.
Well, if he gets out on the edge, can he run it? Out of the gun. Protection starting to collapse, and he's down inside the 30. Grab from behind. And making the play, Bush, Dartwan Bush. So here comes the long field goal try, and that's really all you could ask for your defensive unit to keep it a 1-score game.
Well, they haven't run onto the field yet. Bill Snyder looks like he's going to go for this.
He's on the road. He's got a 4th and 5 at the 29. And will it be a timeout? He's walking down to the linesman like he's going to call the timeout. Here we go on 4th and 5. Call a timeout. No. They'll go for it. Klein on the quarterback draw. Won't get it. Red Raiders survive without allowing a point off a turnover. Blake Dees.
It's hard to tell if this is a designed quarterback draw or Klein just thought he had green grass. It looks like he's actually looking for his tight end McDonald and then just takes off a hair too early. If he waits a second, McDonald was on a little 5-yard out route. He would have been open with man-to-man coverage.
Did Smith influence him on a little twist? Because he was right in his face. Over the middle, intercepted. Going the other way once again. Picked off by Tyson Hartman. So it's given away by Dagey on a 2nd consecutive possession. He had only 1 interception and 17 touchdown tosses over the first 5 games of the season. He's got 2 already tonight.
We've already seen Tyson Hartman play so well in the run game, he decides to jump a route. Watch him jump the route. We've seen him sit back how many times tonight? Let the ball carriers catch the ball and then rally up and tackle him. He finally reads the eyes. Dagey stares down the wide receiver. Hartman's there for the INT.
So from the 22. And left side up again.
A false start by number 70 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still 1st down.
2nd time on Hansen.
Crowd affecting the offensive line and the communication for Kansas State. Left tackle just starts a little bit too early. Very frustrating. They're not built to come back from 1st and 15. They're built to stay on schedule.
And it's been the 5-yard markups most of the night, whether it's offsides or false starts. Zone read. Klein breaking it at the line. May take it the distance. He's hit inside the 5. 1st and goal at the 2. Davis got over in time to save the score.
Kansas State just out-leverages Texas Tech. How about Hubert with the good block? Pinning Blake Dees inside the defense. That's what Colin Klein reads off of. There's the block right there. Hubert pinning the linebacker inside. Klein with a great cut off of it.
Trying to make it a 2-score game. That's 94 yards on 17 carries. Right on the average for Colin Klein. Hubert trying to make a miss. And he lunges. He's down to the 1. Boy, he's stretched. And he was on top of another body trying to get it in. I don't blame him.
A couple of different jump cuts.
He's small.
He was going backwards, and you could tell in his mind he got panicked and said, I can't take a loss here inside the 5. That's when he darted forward. But inside the 1, your quarterback's 230. It's time for a quarterback sneak.
2nd and goal from the 1. It is Klein. He should be in. Touchdown, Kansas State. So they failed the first time off a turnover. On the takeaway by Meshach Williams, they get the job done this time.
Watch them just stay right in that formation. Texas Tech gets a little bit of penetration, but you can't stop that as a defense. Third rushing touchdown of the game for Colin Klein.
Now an important extra point for Cantelli. And it's a 10-point K-State lead. So inside of 10 left. And boy, what a premium on the next possession, next two in this game for Texas Tech.
Turnovers leading to points. Tyson Hartman jumps the route and sets up his offense for a chance at a score. Colin Klein with the quarterback sneak.
10-point lead for Kansas State, trying to stay undefeated in Lubbock. All Big 12. It's going to be Marquez. 2 yards in, and he'll down into the end zone. Time now for Academy Sports and Outdoors game break. Kevin Frazier, Marcus Allen, what's going on? Well, Kevin, the Texas Tech Red Raider fans just heard you. There's 10 minutes left in this game, basically, and they want to come back on homecoming. Now, out of the gun. Crawford's not going anywhere. 9:45. The positive for the Red Raiders is their tempo, their rhythm, and how many snaps they can get if they click.
I just think it's so amazing that a group with 13 transfers in the 2 deep can play such consistent defense.
Now Deggy in trouble. And he's going to throw it away. Did he underthrow it enough for a pick? Yes, he did. Intercepted. Do you believe it? David Garrett's got it. He just tried to throw it away.
Seth Deggy had thrown only 1 interception on the year coming into tonight's ball game. He's thrown 3 tonight. David Garrett, how about the body control? He gets 2 feet down.
Good receiver.
Kansas State so opportunistic with their defense. Their defense has set them up perfectly tonight. They were +2 in the turnover margin. Coming into today, they're +4 tonight. Haven't turned the ball over and forced Texas Tech into those turnovers.
So 9.5 to play. Now can they chew up some clock in the process? Klein calling his own number and loses a couple of yards. This is the 3rd consecutive drive to start off turnovers deep in Red Raider territory. The 34, the 22, and this time at the 28.
Bill Snyder would like nothing else than to pull about 3 to 3.5 minutes off this clock. If he could go 80 yards, you'd want 6 minutes off. But now just sitting at about the 30-yard line, he wants his offense to stay on schedule and stay on the field.
They don't beat themselves. And tonight's game is a perfect illustration of the way they can manufacture things. Going to be Klein on the zone option read, weaving his way all the way to the 20. Short of the first down by 2. When you put all 3 areas together, what they've done defensively and taking the ball away, but let's not forget about the scores defensively first in the game, early in the game, and then the special teams, the kick return of 99 yards and the 2 block field goals.
Which that's basically your defensive unit. Remember, that's just Rafael Guidry, a defensive nose tackle that's gotten in for those 2 blocks. So that defensive unit has set up Colin Klein and these Wildcat offensive players beautifully tonight.
Klein with that, so over 100 yards rushing, and now needs 2. For a huge first down, another 2 minutes off the clock. Hubert getting a block from Klein, and he's got the first down. Boy, he stops and starts as quick as you can find.
I feel like they were having a tug of war in the backfield. Who was going to take the football between Hubert and Klein? It looks like Klein wants to take this ball. I mean, they're way outside of the tackle box, and right there, this is where Hubert in that vision, he's going to cut all the way back across the grain. Klein gets a block in there. Hubert goes and moves the chain, but more importantly, like you said, more time off the clock.
They could seal it here with a touchdown. Up by 10 already. Trying to get more points off a takeaway. Hubert dashing inside the 10 down to the 9. And if they do get a touchdown here, it would be their 3rd touchdown off of the turnover, because the first point of the game for them came, as you mentioned, on the pick six by Nigel Malone.
Texas Tech came into the game first in the conference and first in the country in terms of not turning the ball over. Only 3 turnovers that this offense gave up all year long. They've turned the ball over 4 times tonight to Kansas State.
And while we said Kansas State was +2 coming in and +4 tonight, Tommy's team, Tommy Tuberville, they were averaging a +2 per game over the first 5 of the season. Klein on second and about 5. It's Hubert. And chewing up the clock. Inside of 7 to play. All 3 timeouts do remain, though, for Texas Tech.
Another strength of Texas Tech that Kansas State has taken away. They were first in the conference, 5th in the country in terms of red zone scoring. Blocking those 2 field goals. Took advantage of the fact that they had drives that didn't come away with points.
Now, Joel, if they can hold them to 3, with 3 timeouts on the board, you could conceivably get 2 scores. And I'm talking 2 touchdowns. If they can hold them to 3. And it's going to be movement. So it's not going to be 3rd and about 3. It'll be 3rd and 8. Tight end on the right side, McDonald.
I think this is the time to let Colin Klein make a play. We've already seen him throw a beautiful ball to Chris Harper for a touchdown tonight. He's been singled up with Eugene Nebo all series long. Harper has. Harper 6'1", 225. Eugene Nebo only 5'10", 180 pounds.
6 series
at the top of your screen.
We talked about Kansas State and taking it away, what it's done for their average drive start. The last 3 deep in Red Raider territory. Klein trying to get outside, won't be able to turn the corner. Good play on the outside. Coming up, it was Blake Dees, the 18-year-old, another first-year freshman.
It looked like they were trying to set up a shovel pass. Watch Hubert. He looks back for the ball. Colin Klein's got an option. I can run it. I can throw that underneath shovel pass. He decides to run it, but Dees, with great speed, the true freshman, chases him down and forces this field goal attempt.
Trying to force Tech into 2 touchdowns now to get it. And I'm talking about Deanna Rizzo. Cantelli. It'll be a 31-yard attempt, and he pulled it. He pulled it left. Never had a chance. So there is a life in Red Raiderville. It's a missed 31-yard field goal out of the hold of Dorr, the punter. And Texas Tech has to do something in a hurry when we come back.
Set them up in plus territory, and they went down and scored on that possession. Their offense got 7 points out of that possession. So Guidry playing fantastic tonight for the Wildcats.
And as you mentioned, either one goes, it's a 1-score game for Texas Tech. They're not as desperate. Over the middle, he's got a first down past the 35. And picking it up, first catch of the night for Aaron Fisher. He has not been on the field all that often.
For Kansas State, you can't get beat deep here. Do not allow a quick score. Force them to go the distance.
Empty backfield on first down. Pocket holding up again and thrown behind his intended target. So Daggy struggling a little bit. It was Fisher again.
Thought Hartman had a chance there for another pick. It would have been his 2nd of the half. The ball was thrown behind. If he was targeting the ball there, he could have gone in there for the pick.
Now on 2nd and 10. Daggy, one of the few poor decisions. We've seen picks and everything, but usually he doesn't try to tuck it and run it.
Yeah, that tells me that his clock is running a little bit quickly right now. You can see it in his eyes. He's trying to go too fast. Part of his game is being patient in the pocket and allowing receivers to come open down the field late over the middle.
He's kept Crawford in the backfield. On 3rd and 10. And underneath, coming over to help out his quarterback, it was Torres. He's been their most active receiver tonight.
Moves the chains, stops the clock. Torres has been very efficient for Seth Daggy in Texas Tech tonight.
He really came back to help his quarterback. From the 48, Bubble hasn't worked all night. How about this time? It's complete, and he's got about 10 to Douglas. They've gone to it enough. Make it 9.
Lateral pursuit for the Kansas State defense, though, keeps it from moving the chains, so the clock will run. Arthur Brown, you see the speed from the Mike linebacker position.
2nd and a yard. He's got the first down. And he's got Crawford. His back just circled out underneath. It's to the 29-yard line.
This is the point in the field where you want to take a shot down the middle of the field. Attack the safeties, Tyson Hartman and Ty Zimmerman, with that deep seam route.
Saves the clock. It's Torres. That's his 10th catch of the night. By far the most for Texas Tech. So I mentioned earlier, all the timeouts on the board for both sides. And now, Bill Snyder is going to take one off the board.
That's a smart timeout.
Calls their first timeout.
Break the rhythm.
Break the rhythm. Give your defense a break. Get them over there. Get them some water. Get them a breather.
Sprint, all football, no limits. Only from Sprint. Joel Myers, Joel Klatt, Jim Knox. Surprise. The biggest surprise of the Big 12 continues. Their storybook start to the season. Trying to go 6-0. K-State up 10 points right now. Tech is driving. With all 3 timeouts remaining, 3:35 left, and with all 3 timeouts on the board, if they can score in the next 30-35 seconds, they don't need an onside kick. 2nd and 6. Let's see their strategy, though. Keep it on the ground. Washington, their quick back. Man, he's got a first down. Just inside the 19.
Pretty smart play. They know that they can move the chains with that play. The clock will stop. Then they can snap it inside the 20-yard line.
Fresh set of downs for Daggy. Looks one way. Double move into the end zone. A hold. Half the distance to the goal going for Torres. That was a horse collar hold. He tried to get anything he could get.
Alan Chapman in coverage there, number 3.
That stops it with
Pass
3:18
interference
left.
by number 3 of the defense. It's a spot foul and an automatic first down.
Chapman with his right arm. There's the tug on the back of the jersey. Very easy call from the official. Puts the ball at the 6-yard line.
Got to do it in a hurry, though. 18 seconds away from the 3-minute mark. 1st and goal. And it's complete. They're moving the clock. It runs. Torres has 12 catches now. Or is that his 11th? Make it 11.
Deggy now over 60 attempts on the night.
Which is usually an equation that you're down, you're trailing. Crawford dives. Did he get there? No. Knee down. Inside the 1. These are precious seconds for Texas Tech. It bounced down off balance.
Same play. We're going to run that zone read again.
And he won't get there. 3rd and goal outside of the 1. More importantly, though, they're taking another minute off the clock.
And because they were having to hurry, remember, it didn't give the replay booth enough time to look at that last play. They try to look at every play. The play for Crawford near the end zone wasn't able to be looked at. Fortunate for Bill Snyder.
This was the 1st and goal snap you're talking about, Joel. And was he down? Yes. Good call. A pregame show tomorrow, noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, only on Fox. Well, now, 4th and goal.
The 4th-ranked red zone defense in the country has an opportunity to seal a victory for their team in Kansas State.
Well, they need 2 scores. So it's going to be Corona. Where's Guidry? Account for him. Short field goal of 19 yards and a 1-score game with 2:32 to play. Now the decision for the onside kick because they had to use a timeout. So the long drive stalls.
It's all in how confident you are in your defense, whether you're going to onside kick or not if you're Tommy Tuberville.
Yeah, tonight's game on AFN, American Forces Network, broadcasting to U.S. Armed Forces all over the world. 175 countries aboard ships at sea. And thank you once again for all you do and the opportunity for us to bring it your way. Joel Myers, Joel Klatt, Jim Knox, 2:32 to play. A 7-point game. Boy, those 2 missed field goals because they were blocked by Rafael Guidry. 6'4", 300-pounder, and Joel on both blocks. He went flush up the middle, barely touched.
Poor blocking by Texas Tech. Clearly, Tommy Tuberville, as we talked to him before he went in at halftime, was very upset with his protection units for getting those field goals blocked. And that is the difference in the game right now. Looks like they are going to line up and Bit of a different formation. Kansas
Timeout.
State's going to call a timeout. That's a good timeout by Bill Snyder.
So they'll talk it over once again.
Home. If they win this game tonight, they can find a way with 2:32 left. Bill Snyder's going to find himself undefeated against the Oklahoma Sooners at home late in the season.
And all they have after Oklahoma is they're in Stillwater, then they've got Texas A&M, and then they're in Austin. So it gets easier. Now, will it be an onside kick? Only one back. Thompson. The hands team out there for Bill Snyder. Here it goes, and it's popped high into the air. Loose ball. Recovered by Texas Tech. Do you believe it? It was kept alive by Torres. Torres kept it alive. But the hop, man, what a job by Corona. It's covered and picked up. And what a play for the Red Raiders. Swindle.
It starts with the kick. This is a sensational kick by Corona. Look how high that ball goes. Hartman then has to wait for it. See how long he waits for it. And it was Torres that comes in and keeps it alive. Swindle with the recovery, and now the Red Raiders are in business. Offense back on the field, down by 7, 2:31 to play.
Daggy, can they recover? Crawford's going to run on first down. Didn't surprise anybody, a gain of a yard. Torres, though, in a jump ball, took it away.
That's it. Hartman's trying to go up and get it at its highest point, but Torres does a great job tipping it back.
On 2nd and long, short one, Torres. Clock runs. Huge 3rd and 4. 1st and 10 line brought to you by Mazda. Plenty of time for Texas Tech. The last thing, we want to rush into a mistake. 3rd and 4. Man thrown behind his intended target. He was trying to get Ward. Ward has been very quiet. Not many touches in the second half.
Well, he's been going up against Nigel Malone, who almost had his 2nd interception of the game right there. He's already got 4 on the year. Kansas State can ill afford a mistake right now. You can see him playing very smart football. They don't want to get beat deep by Seth Daggy and Texas Tech.
This is the ball game, basically. 4th and about 4. It's a straight 4-man rush. Daggy, a lot of time, and overshoots his back. He tried to get it to Crawford. Kansas State comes up with a stop. So with 2 timeouts on the board, minute 53 to play. It goes back to the Wildcats.
How about the rush? They've been out there all night long. And Vi Latui at 280 pounds just does not quit and forces Daggy into a throw that he doesn't want to make.
And Jolie had Crawford easily early and then went late. And all he needed was 4. Crawford turns around, he's wide open. Away from Trey Walker. It's to the midfield stripe. Timeout will be called immediately. And now 1 remaining. Oh no, Texas Tech is not using it yet. I'd use it early.
There's no question I'd be calling a timeout right now if I was Texas Tech.
I only say that because then you force Bill Snyder into decision if there is a 3rd and long.
Whether you're going to throw or run.
Right.
Absolutely.
It'll be 2nd. Long 7. Milking the clock. And they're going to take it down to 2 seconds or 1 on the clock.
Inside of 4 seconds, there's no doubt.
Quarterback run all the way, Colin Klein. And here comes the 3rd down. Now you stop the clock. 54 seconds left. It's a long field if they don't get it. You force a punt. So 1 timeout left for Texas Tech. Our Academy Sports and Outdoors right stuff play of the game. And it was special teams. No surprise there. And Lockett. Tyler Lockett.
Tyler Lockett really sparked this team because at this point Texas Tech had it rolling and the momentum goes all the way to Kansas State because of the tremendous vision and decisiveness of Lockett. Right now he's going to cut back, find the lane, and turn on the Jets, and the true freshman finds himself in the end zone. I thought it was a completely different game after that point because that's what kept them close to Texas Tech, who clearly had the momentum.
They're now 2 yards away from a win. They convert on the first down, and it is over.
There's no doubt this is Colin Klein territory right now. He is not handing this ball off.
He doesn't even have Hubert in the backfield. It's only Wilson, the fullback, and he's following Wilson right side. It's over. Colin Klein and K-State have the win and the first down. That was easy. Wow. Too easy on 3rd and 2 in that crucial spot.
Let's remember Tommy Tuberville has a very young defense over there. They're not very good against the run, but Bill Snyder brings the Wildcats in and ends a 5-game losing streak to Texas Tech here in Lubbock.
Haven't beaten the Red Raiders since 2000. And the clock winds down on a 6-0 start for K-State. So the surprise continues for the Wildcats. No one could have anticipated at the midpoint of the season, basically, they'd be undefeated, Joel.
And how about the 4 quality wins in a row for Kansas State? On the road for Bill Snyder against Miami, the game in which Ja'Cory Harris came back after the suspension, they beat him. They come back. Baylor, Robert Griffin III, he's getting all the hype. Kansas State beats him. Missouri comes to town. Kansas State beats him. Kansas State goes on the road, face a very good Texas Tech team who had only lost 1 game. They beat them. And for the 5th time in Bill Snyder's career at Kansas State, they are 6-0.
And I like the word you used in particular, beat them, because they don't beat themselves.
They do not beat themselves. They force you to make plays. Bill Snyder is one of the greatest college football coaches in history. The turnaround at Kansas State early and what he's done now in his 2nd stint with the Kansas State Wildcats. Phenomenal.
Let's join Jim Knox. Knoxy.
All right, thank you, Joel. Coach, congratulations. You told me at half, if you didn't get more than 95 offensive yards in the second half, you might as well go home. Well, you got 246 total yards of offense in the second half. You got to be extremely pleased with the way your offense opened it up and performed.
Well, we had a couple of possessions down here going in that we could have put the ball game away with our offense after our defense did a great job of getting turnovers, and we didn't do it. So I'm pleased with the 240 yards or whatever it was, and I'm pleased that we scored some points, but I'm not pleased that we couldn't get the ball in when we had a chance down here to put the game away.
And something you said you're pleased about is the defense. You know, Seth Dagey going into the game, only 1 interception. You guys picked him off 3 times tonight.
Well, I thought, you know, we started the ball game that way and got the return. We've done that, I think, 3 times now in 3 ball games. Very early like that. I'm awful proud of our defense. They had, I don't know how many snaps they took, but it had to be 100 plus. And our defense was, I mean, we were tired. There's no doubt about it. But I'm proud of them because they fought back. They played. They made some plays when it was made a big difference. And we did some good things. We were inconsistent in every facet of it, but we did some good things in special teams that made a difference. The kickoff return, a lot of it was good.
Way to go, Coach. Congratulations. Appreciate the time. Joel?
All right, Jim. Well, they're making plans right now for the ticker tape parade in the Little Apple of Manhattan, Kansas, after this upset.
6-0, Kansas State. Wasn't quite 100 snaps. It was 96, but he was right on. And how about Vila Tui on the 4th down? The motor kept going. 96 snaps into this game, forcing Dagey into a poor throw and a poor decision. Ultimately won the game for the Wildcats.
So the